Hello students, my name is Professor Forrest Lajeunesse, and I wanted to welcome you to American History 2020, which is where we study American history from 1877 to our modern era. This is a mandatory pass class for the state of Florida, so I hope you all work diligently through this so that we can ensure that you can progress in your academic endeavors. Let me go ahead and first off, I'll introduce you to myself, and then I will go over what we are looking for course requirement wise. I have been teaching at Valencia here for almost 4 years. I have a master's degree in history. I'm currently finishing up my doctorate in history. I have numerous and varied interest in U.S. history itself. So I kind of, as I would kind of say, I'm a Swiss Army knife of U.S. history knowledge. So I have specialization in the French and Indian War, also when it comes to economic systems in early America. But I also have a strong fascination with World War II and a lot of study with kind of how social interactions work throughout the history of the United States, especially when it comes to religion. I'm more than willing to answer questions on virtually any subject within U.S. history, but if you want to know my specialties, those are my specialties. Overall, though, I look forward to our time together here in this course. So here's the big thing that I want to talk about when it comes to my course in particular. My course is designed as a research and writing course. Now, does that mean we are not going to cover all elements of American history? We are still going to cover all of American history and everything that you need to know. Within my course, I have a history textbook which we will use. It is an online textbook. You will find it right here if we're looking at the classroom, which I have pulled up here. If you scroll down, you will find that the course textbook is right here. It is in a PDF format. You can simply download it as a PDF with no need for any special add-ons. And it is 100% free, so there's no need to order a book for my course. Also, great things about PDFs is that you can search them. A few other things is that you will find that in my course I have additional readings that I will assign to you each week. These readings can vary from being simply 3 or 4 pages of short readings to some of them being much longer sources, which will incorporate a lot more information. And yes, those sources are on the weekly test that I will assign to. I'll go over all assignments here in a minute. But for the most part, our main focus will be on writing. So you're going to put together your own thesis from beginning to end. You are going to do research. You're going to demonstrate research and knowledge that you are gaining during your research. And by the end of the course, you are going to write me a 10 to 15 page research paper. You're not going to do it on your own, though. I will help walk you through the process and we will build our way there. So just be aware of that, that our main focus will be in this course of writing that one paper. And most of your assignments will be based and built around that paper. Okay, I'll cover all of that here in just a second too, because I want to go over each part of building those assignments and where to look for them. For one of the big things I want to make sure of is that you're aware of is do not fall behind in this course. If you're not turning in things in a timely manner, there are short time frames of which you'll have to turn in some of these core assignments so that you can progress in writing the paper. And if you fall behind on it, you will never get to that point where you're ready to write the paper itself. This is not a class that you can simply show up on the last week for and write the paper. Every assignment that I'm giving you aside from the quizzes are solely based around building that paper. Okay, so if you're thinking of, I'll just keep delaying this till the end, it's not going to work for you. A little bit about how I reach out or how you can reach me. You can do so always via email. That is the easiest way. It'll take me 24 to 48 hours usually to reply. I typically do not reply over the weekends because my weekend is your weekend, and for the most part I am not working over the weekend unless it's just simply me grading. Okay, if I Most people wait till the weekend to try to reply to everything, but then I just get too many emails and it just will take me an amount of time to get through them all and reply back to you. But do not be afraid to send me an email, especially if you start getting behind. Make sure you reach out to me so that we can try to work through and ensure your success overall in this course. That's my biggest goal, is to make sure you succeed here. I am not here to fail you, but I'm not here to give you an easy pass either. So be aware of that. Also, because this is a summer course, it is much more compressed, which means you will have assignments on a more frequent basis, and you'll have a shorter time frame on some of these assignments comparative to others. So for the most part, that is the basic overview of some of the things we're going to talk about. But what I want to direct you to here is at the very beginning of the course itself, you will find that I have a syllabus, all your rubrics, and your assignment instructions here. The video will be uploaded right here when I'm done with it, but here you'll be able to read your syllabus. And then right down here, each of these are going to be your research paper assignments and what we are going to do. And many times they'll either be the rubric itself or the actual assignment itself. And in some of these, I'm also going to include examples. So for example, when you have to do an annotated bibliography, if you've never done one before, I have included an annotated bibliography. With the research paper itself, I have a research paper overview. Typically, I will upload an example paper. I'm going to see if I still have it, which I do believe I have it. I just have to locate it, and I'll probably put it right underneath here. One of the key things I want to note here is in some of these assignments where it's like the overview, I may still have phraseology from a previous term. I try to go through them and clean them up as best I can. I sometimes miss things. So it may say like in week 6, don't trust that part of it, trust the syllabus. That's what I'm going to tell you now. Trust the syllabus for everything when it comes to dates. So let me pull up the syllabus so we can look through it. All right, I'm going to go back up to the top here. As you can see, here's the course code that we are in. Here are our dates that we are meeting until. Here's where you can email me. Typically, if you're going to call the office phone, it's going to go to Valencia itself, but since this is an online class, they will have to then send me an email, and then I will research out to you. Here are the textbooks. As I said, this is a free digital textbook, but if some of you really want a paper textbook, you could actually order a physical copy using this code right here. If you just copy and paste it into Amazon, there'll be a paper option for you. Okay, as I stated, additional readings here. Everything that we do will be in Canvas. Any updates I will give you via Canvas. Okay, if I'm grading something and I'm behind on it, and I'll tell people via Canvas. Okay. You will need to be able to record videos for this course. Not record videos. You'll have to have a video ability to have video calls, so like Zoom calls, so either on your computer or on a phone, because there is going to be a part of this class where you will have to talk with me. Okay. Going down here, here's our grading system. Your research is going to comprise 25% of your grade. Your final paper will be 20% of your grade. I have included something unique here in which we are going to do what's called a paper defense, which means you are going to write a paper, and then you are going to follow up with me, and you're going to do a video call with me, and we are going to discuss your research. Okay? It's something a little bit different, something you've never done before, and it's usually something we only reserve for higher academia. However, because I'm trying to teach all of you to become higher academics and prepared for the future, this is a great tool which we can use in order to improve your presentation skills. Weekly quizzes are going to incorporate 35% of your grade, so each and every week you will have a quiz on your reading, and also in the textbook and the additional reading I assign. And then you will have a final exam which will be worth 10% of your grade, which will be made up from all the quizzes that you took throughout the term. So I would recommend that you kind of keep that in mind. Especially when you take that test, it will be an open book test, which means you'll be able to use your textbook, and I will give you ample amount of time to work through the questions. Okay, here's where you find all of the assignments and their necessary due dates. Okay, now some of these assignments I will notate and give you a clear expectation as to when they will be due, because some are different than others. So for example, anytime that I give you a quiz, any of these quizzes right here, you have up until, let me go back here really quickly, because I put it down here. I thought I had it down up there. You have until 7/13 to finish any and all of those quizzes. Also, your final research paper is due that same day, which means you have to turn in your final research paper on the day that it is due, or else you will have no other options to turn that in. Okay, but any quizzes, they can be done up until 7/13. However, there will be a 2% per day penalty for each day that it is past due. Okay, and it'll just build and build and build. So try to get it done before that. When it comes to assignments like your thesis proposal and overview, it is due on the 18th. These will not have extended deadlines past a week. And not all of them will have that extra week that you have, because you're going to have to fill these out in order to keep writing your paper. Okay, so typically these will only have, they'll be due this time, and they'll maybe have a week buffer on them. I will clearly notate how long that buffer is on the assignment instruction when you pull it up. So as you can see, you'll have an early worldview assignment, a Chicago style quiz, then our next week we'll have like chapter 17 and 18. These are the ones where we're going to start talking about the paper. So like on the 18th, you need to give me a thesis proposal. As we progress on 6-1, you will need to show me your initial research on your thesis, meaning that you're going to have to go through the thesis and kind of explain it to me, and anything that has changed with the thesis. You can revise your thesis as often as you need to up until we are getting to our initial draft, okay? But you'll also have to show me your research that you are engaged in. Okay, that's why I want bibliographies to show me that you're actually doing research. I will talk more about how to do research in another video. Down here, you're going to have to do what's called an annotated bibliography, which means you're going to take all those sources that you're working on, and you're going to write me a detailed explanation as to what the source includes and how you are going to use it. By 6/29, you are going to have to turn in an initial draft. The key thing is that with the initial draft is you are going to have to turn it in on 6/29. I can't have it later than that. Why? Because I am going to look over your initial research draft. It's going to take me about a week. Okay? And during that time, I'm going to give you feedback on that initial draft. If you have errors, flaws, and other problems, it'll give me ample time to try to address those before we get to the final paper. Okay, that means if you're delayed with turning in the initial research draft, I just wouldn't have any time to fix those problems, or at least assist you in fixing those problems before it comes to the final paper. Okay, lastly, final paper would be due on 7/13. This is where you're going to compose that entire 10 to 15 page paper. I will have a complete separate video on what I expect with that final research paper. Okay, that way you have all the key information that you'll need in order to be successful with that. Okay, and that, of course, on 7/30 you will have your final. Okay, so that's our assignments, where you can find your textbooks and your quizzes. Okay, so your quizzes will be found underneath here each time that I put them in here. Okay, so for week 1, just to give you a quick overview of week 1 so that you are prepared for it. Week 1, you have 3 lectures that I have done. You have a worldview lecture, a history 101, historical writing 101 lecture, and Chicago style citation lecture. Also, I have included in 2 of those the Chicago style lecture, Chicago style PowerPoint, and the writing PowerPoint. Okay, so you will have access to those for the entirety of the course, so that you can go back to them. Here's my example paper. I already put it in here. So I made sure I already had it. It looked like I got ahead of myself and made sure I already had it installed. So in here will be the example paper. It's a paper that I wrote in the past. I cut out sections of it so you don't have to read the entire thing. And it has annotations as to what you should be doing on that paper, okay? In order to meet Chicago style. Chicago style cheat sheet is right here. You will do the cheat sheet in case you get lost while you're trying to do Chicago style citations. Chicago style is different from APA and MLA, which you're probably used to, so make sure you watch those lectures and that you use the style guide. If you get lost and you are struggling and you don't know what you're doing with Chicago style citations, reach out to me. Do not suffer. Do not just sit there and go, I don't understand this, so I'm just going to cite however I want to. You can't do that because that's a lot of points that you'll miss out on. After you finish doing those, you will have a worldview assignment, which means you will write me a explanation after you watch the worldview lecture about how your worldview impacts you. Okay, and then you'll have a Chicago style quiz. I would recommend having the PowerPoint up and the video up to kind of get through that too. Many students have struggled with the Chicago style quiz in the past, just so you are aware. Very last thing that I do want to point out, do not cheat or use plagiarism. Often it is very easy to catch plagiarism. My plagiarism checkers themselves are very good at catching it and showing me what you plagiarized. If you're going to use a source in history, just cite it. Make sure I know where it's coming from. Also, AI checkers are in all of our plagiarism checkers now, so we can check for AI utilization. It'll tell us what has been used and where. So when you are using or writing your paper, don't try to have AI write it for you. There are, again, other things in this assignment which are designed to push you away from using AI, because AI is not going to work in some cases. Like if you have to give me a detailed bibliography, you can't just use AI to write that for you. You actually had to do some of the research for you to get there, okay? So please do not cheat. If you do cheat, I am definitely one that will turn you in and make sure that you are going to have to answer for it. I don't like doing it, but I am big on academic integrity. That's how I really function in this world. I have done the hard work and am still doing the hard work in academia, and trust me, you'll get further doing it than not doing it, okay? I wish the best for you. Again, if you have any questions, concerns, or things that I can help you with, please feel free to reach out to me. Do not be afraid of reaching out to me. I want to ensure that you are successful in this course. If you need to drop out, let me know beforehand so that I can work on making sure that you are pulled out in time so it doesn't impact you. Don't just sit there and fail my course. Okay, that can happen, and I prefer it not to happen. Often we can work through a lot of these things. But you do have to put in the time in my course. I always tell people right out from the gate, my class is not an easy A. It's not going to be an easy A. People who earn A's in my class work to earn A's in my class. And it's not because I'm just mean to be mean. It's because I have high standards in academia, and I hope everybody holds you to high standards too, because when you leave school, you will be expected to also face high standards in your workforce, and I'd rather have you prepared for that in the future and deal with some of those successes and failures now, okay? Again, if you need anything from me, let me know. I look forward to working with each one of you and reading what you write. That's one of my favorite things about this course is I get some very unique student papers, and it really brings a smile to my face when I get to read something and learn something sometimes that I don't know about, because students have taught me things because they pick a very small niche subject that I don't have any historical understanding on, because those exist, and I learned something new. All right, look forward to reading you guys' papers. Have a great day.